Hey guys, it's me Dave. It's 2:15, 2022. So, um, not a whole lot going on with targeting. I'm getting a lot of remote monitoring, a little feed itching, and stuff like that. Little stuff I can't, nothing I can't handle. Basically. But when you're a TI, you start to wake up a little bit. You start to. I'm not saying everyone's a sheeple that goes to work, goes to the grocery store, goes to the soccer game with the kids and all this stuff. I'm not saying they're a sheeple, you know. But when you're a TI, you start to wake up a little bit more and realize things in society are probably man-made or whatever. I'm not going as far as I know DARPA and stuff can do weather manipulation and stuff like that. I'm not going as far as saying they're causing hurricanes to kill a bunch of people and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I'm not going that far. But there are things in society that I think they let happen. You know, um, and one of those things is drugs. Drugs in society. You know, they they let drugs um, go into society. You know, these guys have so much information on everyone. They could stop everything if they wanted to. Killings and drug abuse and all this stuff. So do they let drugs go into poor neighborhoods, African, um, uh, African American neighborhoods, the projects and stuff like that? Do they, I mean, these guys have no shortage of drugs in society. I do think that is man made to a certain point. Um, I think there's a lot of things in society that they could stop. Because everyone's being watched by the NSA and the CIA and everyone else, FBI. They have the power to stop a lot of this crime. And the reason why I say that is because they use criminals in our targeted programs. They use criminals. They know every scumbag in this town, and they will use them. Drug addicts and stuff like that. When I was in the fake psych ward the second time, or it would have been the third time, um, they had people in there that were drug addicts. They use these people. They get desperate. They gotta have a body in there to perf you and everything else. This one girl she looked like she was on heroin. If you look at their pupils get really small and stuff, and she could barely stay awake. I was sitting at the table with her eating supper, and and she could, excuse me, she could barely stay awake. I mean, she was like dozing off and all this stuff. She looked like she was on something, you know. Um, so they use drug addicts and everything else in our programs. They know every scumbag in town, and they will use them in our programs. Especially if you get locked up in stuff, and a lot of us have been in a fake psych ward. They use drug addicts. They use, offenders. I'm not saying they use. I think they use. Sometimes they might use violent offenders. Um, that have assault charges on their family member and assault on a police officer and stuff like that. They will use these people and turn them into perps. And they're just using them and abusing them, and they're dispensable pieces of crap. That's all they are. They're nothing in our society, you know? So when you wake up a little bit, you realize that, you can call it the deep state or whatever, is they're controlling society, um, you get drug dealers with guns. There's no shortage of guns out there with these drug dealers and stuff, and they're dealing drugs to whoever. They don't care who it is, and some of these drug dealers get killed and all this stuff, but they're flooding these uh, low income parts of town with drugs. There's no shortage of drugs. They just did a big, huge drug bust in my city. I live in a city we got about, what do we have, 80,000 people or 60,000 or something like that. Um, and we have a pipeline